So we do a lot of ship tracking. We try to keep up with where China is deploying. In particular, China is deploying its maritime militia in China.
You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Thankful. Donald Trump has already withdrawn security guarantees for America's allies in Europe.
Well, it's like a busy military highway in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and I would say, up until a couple years ago, this would have been much, much quieter.
A Chinese Type 052D cuts across the bow of USS Princeton. Fighters spool on Shandong. A silent sub stalks below. You clicked for a clash, but the win happened without a shot. What turns a collision course into a dead screen? In the next minutes, you'll see how an E-2D, EA-18G Growlers, and F-35Cs flipped the fight by shredding the adversary's sensor picture. If your airnet goes dark, your missiles and ships are blind. Stay with me, this is how the Navy turned electronic warfare into a weapon and erased a three-pronged envelopment in real time. What turns a bow-on challenge into silence on the scope? Who sees first, and who steals sight? That's the whole fight. You felt the shove when steel cut across the bow, but the real contact happened in the air and in the ether. The setup looks bold on the surface.
This is Chinese Naval Warship 552.
That records and publicizes Chinese ship movements in the disputed areas. Sea Light has charted a massive build-up since the summer of 2023.
A Type 052D angles to cross Princeton's path, trading space and nerve. J-15s heat up on Shandong, aiming to pack the upper lane. Below, a diesel-electric sub noses for gain, slow and patient. 3 axes. 1 aim, force the mistake or the turn. Surface rules demand you yield or risk paint and plating, but the destroyer's edge is not its hull. It's the chain of sensors that makes a shot real. Break the chain and the pass is noise. Keep the picture, and you hold your line. The E-2D lifts that picture. Its N/APY-9 throws a wide net, catching air and sea returns across a broad field, then fuses them with feeds from escorts and fighters. What looks like scatter to a single radar, fast movers here, a low return there, becomes one coherent play. The timing of the push stops being a guess. Tracks align. Gaps show. The envelopment's rhythm is exposed. Meanwhile, growlers slide in without fanfare. They don't kill, they edit. Jamming clamps on search beams, deception lays offset ghosts, and the enemy scope starts to lie. One sweep shows 2 ships where there is 1. Another loses a fighter track mid-turn. The map breaks faith with the operator. Doubt creeps in, then delay. Delay burns an attack. Princeton holds course. No lurch.
This is all the Philippines' legal exclusive economic zone. So we do a lot of ship tracking. We try to keep up with where China is deploying. In particular, China is deploying its maritime militia in China.
No panic rudder. The air wing takes the wheel in another domain, trading a hard turn for denial of targeting. That is control without a blast cap. It's the difference between reacting to metal and shaping the mind on the other side of the console. The F-35C adds the quiet knife. It keeps its own radar silent and listens. Passive sensors catch the hiss and timing of hostile emitters, pull bearings, and mark where the eyes are. Low observable lines and careful emissions mean it does this without lighting the sky with its own signature. Data fusion stitches those clues with the E-2DS picture and the shipboard feeds. You get a clean sense of who sees you and when. You don't need to shout to be heard. Time is the currency here, and the MQ-25 pays the bill. Tanking keeps growlers on station and extends the Hawkeye's watch cycle and the F-35CS patrol legs. More time on task lets the jammers work patterns, adapt their cuts, and keep pressure on the air net. Endurance becomes a shield you cannot see but you feel when your targeting cycle never closes. Now the mini payoff. When your air net goes dark, your missiles go blind. Fire control is a chain: detection, track, classification, handoff, guidance. Break any link, and the warhead is just a tube with fins. The Type 052DS surface edge depends on clean tracks and solid updates. With the radar picture smeared by jamming and the deception seed laying false bearings, the handoff to weapons falters. The ship cannot build a shot it trusts. The fighter push loses timing because their cues arrive late or wrong. The sub's value drops because its partners can't fix targets for it. You can see the result in behavior, not flares. The destroyer eases its angle. The fighters hold a beat longer than Doctrine would like. The net is open, but the throughput is trash. Confidence drains first, then posture loosens.
So it's like a busy military highway in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and I would say, up until a couple years ago, this would have been much, much quieter. The second line of defense has already formed back here. I mean, if China decides they're not getting through, they're not getting through.
Violating China's terror airspace. Leave now. Leave immediately.
The theater becomes a rehearsal with bad lines. But then a threshold looms. A radar lock threatens to harden the moment, the step before a shot. Here is where restraint wears rank. You don't answer lock with launch. You answer with steadiness and more denial. Keep the course. Keep the jammers keyed. Keep the F-35CS quiet and close. The grip on the other side tightens, then slips.
And you've also got some Chinese maritime militia coming down from the north to add to this first line of defense that's formed here.
You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Donald Trump has already withdrawn security guarantees for America's allies in Europe. He now runs a maritime monitoring unit at Stanford University.
So watch what control looks like scaled down to seconds. The ship's wake stays straight. The air wing holds its weave. The scope that felt loud a minute ago now looks thin and unreliable. That is how a bow-on dare fades into a dead screen, and why the next move is measured when the line between probing and provocation starts to glow. The first weapon isn't steel. It's the net. When you blind it, metal hesitates. In a lane that moves trillions in trade each year, that restraint keeps ships sailing and tempers cool. That's deterrence with teeth, patience backed by integrated reach, sensors, and jammers that win without a flash. If you want deep dives on how sensors, stealth, and jamming win without firing, subscribe and comment your choice below. Would you jam first or maneuver first? Next time, we go under the layer. A silent hunter near a carrier reshapes every call topside. You'll see how one quiet contact forces a fleet to breathe slower.